Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Founder University podcast. Today's episode is all about retargeting, specifically how to retarget your customers. Without further ado, let's get into this. The agenda for today is going to cover three things. First, we're going to talk about why you should retarget your customers. Second, we're going to talk about how to set up retargeting campaigns. This is from the initial setup, from installing a pixel all the way to executing a campaign. And then third, we're going to talk about how to create custom audiences. This is what your retargeting ad set ends up being. And from that, we'll throw in a bonus of creative and copy ideas that you can use while you create your retargeting campaigns. So first, we're going to talk about why even do retargeting. It's going to come down to a couple main reasons. So one, you get increased brand signal and awareness. So with retargeting, you act bigger than you are because your subset of people that you're interacting with will constantly see your ads or brand, and this just makes you look bigger than you are without having to spend too much on ads. Second, it's a reminder to potential and existing customers to engage with you because you are top of mind by having your ad consistently in front of them. And third, retargeting allows you to understand your customer or audience better. And we'll get into this later, but what I mean by this is you can test different creatives on people that land on XYZ page on your website. Before we jump into how to set up retargeting, I want to touch on the retargeting flywheel and how it's supposed to work. So first, we have the user or potential customer. That user clicks on your website, then that user leaves your website without any activation other than landing on your website because they were maybe curious or wanted to learn something. That same user goes on the internet later, or maybe on their phone, and they start browsing the web, but this time they see your ad. That same user is now reminded that you exist, and now you've created the opportunity to get them re-engaged. Once they're re-engaged, you've increased your chance to make them maybe convert or make a purchase or give you some sort of information like an email. All right, now let's move on to how to set up and install retargeting properly. So the first step to digital retargeting is getting set up on all the major ad platforms. This is going to be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, etc. These are the biggest ad networks in North America, so we want to have a presence across the web and we want it to be consistent. Next, we want to create a Google Tag Manager account, and this is a tool by Google to simplify installing the pixel codes across your websites. So you can create your Tag Manager account by going to tagmanager.google.com. Once your account is created, you'll be able to copy and paste the Tag Manager code onto your website or landing page. And I'll explain in the following slide what that looks like. Also, one thing to add is that you can add unlimited Tag Manager snippets to different sites. So if you're testing different landing pages, like we have here at launch in this image, we can easily manage the ad pixels across different sites with Tag Manager. When you're inside Google Tag Manager, on the left sidebar, you'll click on tags, and this is where you'll install all of your pixels in one place. The point of this is you have the Tag Manager pixel installed on your site, and that's it. Instead of having 10 different pixels and lines of codes on your websites, it's just one, which is the Google Tag Manager, and everything is housed underneath that. Here's how this looks on your site. It's just a couple lines of code rather than 100 from the different ad platforms. Now we're going to set up the Facebook pixel with Google Tag Manager, and I'm just going to walk you through that process. And one thing to note is I'm doing this on Facebook, but you can do the same process on essentially any ad platform and ad network. Let's play this video here and I'll walk you through it. So in Facebook Ad Manager, we're going to go to the Events Manager, and we're then going to head over to the left and connect data sources. And from here, we're going to click on Web and Connect. We're going to go ahead and name the pixel. So this, I'm just going to name it Pixel Test. And then I'm going to add the website that I've added the pixel to. So in this case, it's angel.university. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Install Pixel Code. And then I'll be taken to the screen where I can copy the code. So I'll go back to Google Tag Manager here and hit New on the top right. And now we'll name this Facebook Pixel. And go in the tag configuration, custom HTML, and then paste the Facebook pixel here. And then we're going to trigger it on all pages. And so I'm going to hit save and then submit and publish. And then once this is done, we've now installed the Facebook pixel code on Google Tag Manager, and Google Tag Manager is now on our website. And so now we're live, and anyone who lands on our site will be tracked via the Facebook pixel. Now let's move on to setting up retargeting audiences on ad platforms. All right, so now we're going to turn your website visitors into an ad set that we can then use to retarget your customers. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. And again, we're using Facebook in this example, but you can recreate the same process, whether it's on Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, etc. The interface will look different, but the process is the same. In Facebook, here we're going to go into the Audiences tab. And once we click that, you'll see your audiences. If you have none, you'll go ahead and go to the left and hit Create Audience and hit Custom Audience. And now we're going to select the source as website because that's where the pixel is. But you can also use a customer list. So if you collected emails from your users or just an email form on your website, you can upload that and retarget those. But in this case, we're going to use the website. We're going to hit Next. And now we're going to use the source as the Facebook pixel, of course. It should be green. In Events, we're going to go ahead and click people who have visited specific web pages because this is going to allow us to target specifically exact pages on the website. Retention 180 days, that's the max. And then the URL, this is where we're going to specify which page we want to retarget the audience. So I'm going to do angel.university, angel.university/charity, and angel.university/friend. So these are 3 different pages on my Angel University site. Anyone who's landed on those pages, I want to retarget. Okay, so that's selected here. I'm going to scroll down here. I can also choose to exclude people. And so if I have a different website or different asset property, I can exclude those visitors. And so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Change my retention to 180 days. And I'm going to put thisweekinstartups.com. So anyone who's visited Angel University that hasn't visited thisweekinstartups.com, I want to target. That's what I'm saying here. So I'm going to go ahead and name the audience and then hit Create Audience. It'll take a couple seconds. And then here you have it. This is the custom audience that's fully retargeting of Angel University. The audience size is pending, but give it a couple hours. And that's how you turn your website visitors into an ad set. And then from there, we would create a campaign, an ad set, and target that specific segment of users. Lastly, I want to include a slide on content creation, because that's the other half of retargeting and ads in general. So what I like to do is to start on third base with ad creative and copy is just copy other brands. Facebook introduced this thing called the ad library, which allows anyone to search for a company and see what ads they're currently running. So this is very valuable to find inspiration and other intel on how other companies are designing their creative and copy, and maybe even get some insight into what your competitors are doing. Here are 2 examples of companies, Calm and Liquid IV. So I searched their profile in the ad library tool, and I can see the creatives that are being run, and same with the copy. One thing to look out for, which is a little hack, is see how long each ad has been running for. So the first couple are going to be very recent, but scroll down once you've got your results and see maybe longer run ads. And the reason for this is if it's, well, we can assume that if the ad's been running for a long time, it's probably converting for the company. And so we would want to copy those ones versus the ones that they've just executed, which would be near the top. So look for ads that have been over 2 weeks old, and we can make the assumption that it's a winning creative or winning copy. And then we can go ahead and recreate our copy to look like that. All right, that's going to wrap up how to retarget your customers. You can replicate the ideas in this into different platforms. I know we covered mainly on Facebook for this, but you can do the same thing on Twitter, same thing on TikTok, same thing on LinkedIn. It's all the same process. Just recreate what you saw in this video on the different platform and you'll be good to go. And that's how to retarget your customers.